Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. I'm back here with Alex. Thank you for being here with me. And we wanted to talk a little bit about how our unique path, well, it's unique and very different from everybody else's path, right? So, human design has brought this awareness, I think, to both of us, right? First, that, hey, we're different, because for me in the beginning, when I started my own business, I was always looking for the answers outside. And what is that marketing strategy that's going to unlock everything? Or how is it that I have to do a certain thing? And then you have always experts, right? They tell you, like, this is how you have to do it. I have the proven way. And then you have another person that says the opposite. And they're also saying that's the way. And I know for myself that it can really take away from my inner knowing. So, I would love to hear from you. Like, what has been your experience, following a lot of expert guidance and advice in the online space in terms of how more connected you became to your own inner guidance and your unique path?
It's yeah, it's a really important question, I think, for every entrepreneur to explore for themselves, right? Like it's very important to have the skills, to know business skills, to be comfortable selling and marketing, to know how to put an offer together in a powerful way, like all the things, um, to have people skills. Some people have natural people skills, and business is all about people, right? So some people are born more with like the strategy and vision, but they're not as comfortable interacting with people. So that might be one of the business skills they have to learn, right? So there's one piece of, yes, we can learn from other experts. It's kind of like this metaphor that I once heard from somebody, an older lady who was starting to learn the piano at an older age. And she said, so first we have to learn how to play Chopin and Bach. Like we replicate what they do, we play their pieces, we become really good at music theory, all this kind of stuff. And that basis gives us then the basis we have in order to improvise and create our own music. That being said, I also know people, like a father at my daughter's school a few years ago. He's never had a music lesson in his life. He builds guitars. He's taught himself everything he knows. He takes a guitar into his hand. He just tunes it with his ear, not even to the normal tuning, but to just something that sounds fun to him in the moment. And then he moves his fingers. He has never used that tuning before, and he just naturally knows how to make the most beautiful sounding music that way, right? And so that all just to say that, yes, there is something that has helped. It has helped me tremendously over the last 7 years to learn so many skills from so many different experts. And when I look back, the most effortless and fun and successful launch of a program that I ever had, and that I don't know, of course, skill came into it as well, right? But I was pregnant with my third child, 5 months or so. I was in France with my other two children because I wanted to take them on a trip to Europe before the baby came and visit family, not in France, but nearby Germany, but also show them France. And I was just writing one email a day. There was no big like launch stress or anything. I was just writing one email a day, and I was in an expansive, new, exciting environment for me. I was in a relaxed atmosphere. I was on vacation. We were doing fun things every day. And then once a day, I just said to my kids, okay, just give me 45 minutes. I just need to send one email. It was one of the highest and launches for a program that I've ever done. And it was one where I didn't need any help from a messaging mentor or anything. I just wrote from my heart. I wrote from how I wanted to communicate. And
Mhm.
stupid as we humans are, why don't I do this all the time, But I guess,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love I love this so much because it gave me now a bunch of things to respond to. So first that there's a place for everything. And I think we humans, we always look for the answer, and there's no one answer to everything. It's really what works for us. And, sometimes, yeah, we have to learn something first. Like you mentioned the piano playing as an example. And then there are other people that were just born with a gift and talent, and they never need to have a lesson, and they become these magical piano players, right? And it's okay, right, that we seek expert guidance. That had also been a huge part on my journey. Like I got certified in human design. I mean, I could have chosen not to do it. And I always said that I felt like I just remembered these things. It was already there. But the teachings from other people that really helped me to build up also a level of confidence. And then at some point, I had the courage to fully do it my way, with human design. I think there's nobody that teaches human design the way that I do, and it's not supposed to be. It's very different. And just like you launched your program when you were back on vacation, pregnant with your kids, I also could sense there was just this expansive energy behind, right? Where you could just fully relax into just being yourself, having a good time. And I think no matter what strategy you would have followed, it wasn't really the result from that, but it really was your energy, right? That was behind it. And also your energetic, probably detachment, right? You were focusing more on having joy and pleasure with the family. And, the whole big point that we want to make here for everybody that's listening or watching is that trusting yourself and doing things your way, I know takes so much courage in a very noisy world, right? Where everybody has a different opinion on how to do things. And yeah, some advice is very helpful and can move us forward on our path and build up our confidence. But there's nothing more priceless than your inner knowing. That's your connection to God, source, universe, to your highest self that gives you this very unique insights that are relevant to your soul's path, right? Like everybody's path is different. And I think that's where the whole dilemma is already there, right? We're trying to follow other people, but we don't have the same path. Like, why are we even doing that? We compare ourselves and then we feel like, what's wrong with me? And why is this not working for me like it is working for another person? And I think it's just about using all of this expertise we have out there in a very light way, more as inspiration, so we can kind of pick up the things that really resonate with us, how this feels true, and I'm going to give it my own flavor. But eventually, you're really fully just going in to your most authentic self, where you don't even need to follow any kind of strategies and formulas and ways how to convince people how to buy something or whatever it is, right, that you're going to put out into the world. And I have seen this over and over again, also for myself. Also, if you ask me about one of my successful launches, was when I allowed myself to do it my way.
Mm.
And I made decisions that just felt right to me rather than seeking expert advice from a marketing guru or something like that, you know? And again, not to discount that in any way or form, because it's like this end, right? There's a place for other people's guidance and advice and expertise, but then take it lightly, give it your own flavor. And you may also combine a lot of different insights from different people, throw it into your magic pot, make your own soup, right? It's like when I was growing up, we were always watching Asterix and Obelix. It's like a little comic. My dad is really big on it. And there was this one magician that Miraculix, I think was his name. He made this drink that gave Asterix this strength and power so he could lift these huge stones.
That's
And
a little guy.
yeah, he's a little guy, exactly. And he was so strong, like an elephant, and he could just throw a big fat stone like a bubble. And that's the same thing when you have this courage to make your own unique magical soup. You
Mm.
stand out because it's like nobody else's. And in today's world, with AI especially, oh my God, there's so much cookie cutter. Everything sounds the same, and people think you have to create so much content. But if you take a step back and just create one very authentic piece, where you really put your heart and your soul and your being into it, where you're having fun, you play, it's your creativity, you're totally letting go of, oh, is this gonna go viral or is this gonna get the most likes? Because that's what people say. Just have fun, and see what that does for you. And little add onto that, you want to be energetically detached because when we're energetically still on an energy of like, oh, I hope this is gonna go viral or it's gonna get a lot of likes, then we're already not in an energy of trusting and just being playful with who we are and just fully expressing our authenticity.
Yeah. And since you were talking about AI right now, I think it's also really interesting to note, especially if you're a coach or an online creator or a guide or a consultant or whatever it is, it's really easy to think that AI can replace you, right? But the thing, when you were just talking, I just had this visual, and this is the magic of working with other humans, right? AI can't do that. AI can give you so many ideas, right? AI can expand your horizons, or AI can help you make your marketing more tangible. But what AI isn't so good at and is helping you have your own realizations because it kind of throws things at you because it's okay. I'm not conspiracy theorizing here, but maybe it's just another thing that keeps you from having your own creativity come through, right? And something about embodiment comes from your own realizations. And what I've always noticed about myself is when I listen to people and I sample a lot of people's energy, like by listening to podcasts or YouTube videos, whatever it is, when I'm listening to someone who is soul aligned for me and is supposed to help me on my path, I quickly realize that I'm having a lot of original thoughts, like
Mm.
spurned on, but what they're saying. But it like, for example, you could say something, and then I have like this whole concept opens up for me with my own twist on it, or a whole new understanding. And I've had that with many other people that I listen to or have listened to. And then there's these people, when I listen to them, I get like a nervous system anxiety response. And I'm like, no, no, turn this off. And they
Mm.
might be saying the same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
energetically, I'm not meant to learn from them because their energy isn't with where I'm meant to be going. And not even
Mm-hmm.
about good or bad. I don't know. I don't know these people, right? But it's just like my body is telling me, my nervous system is like, no, this person is stressing you out. Let's not look at their embodiment, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sensitive, so I'm not sure everyone has this same connection with their like conscious mind, but I know that everybody feels something when somebody talks to them, and they might not always be aware of what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something why we need other humans to learn from as opposed to AI is because they teach us what the embodiment feels like. And AI just can't do that. So as we're talking about former mentors, like one of the mentors that we've both worked with, right? And she's such a wonderful human being and she's got very strong energy. And I know you've said a lot of times when I work with her, then my marketing sounds like her. But also, I don't want to become like her. But when I did work with her, yes, I sampled how she did say things. But having had her in my life and coaching me and believing in me and
Yeah.
showing me like how the embodiment feels has left an energetic impression in me that I can call back upon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a big difference that AI just can't do. It
Mm-hmm.
can't, it can help us a little bit with embodiment, but we humans, that's nothing that anyone can ever replace.
Mm-hmm. No, I love it because I think any person we choose to work with, if it's as a mentor, as a coach, or a business colleague in any way or form, there's always a purpose behind, right? Sometimes it's actually to help us realize that we are imitating the other person and we're not fully trusting ourselves, right? Or it's something for us to realize this works for me or this doesn't work for me. That's how I not want to run my business, right? Everything is always a learning experience. And I think the biggest takeaway that I also have from listening to you right now is that you get to decide, right? If a mentor, a guide, a coach is actually serving you or not serving you. And from my experience, how I have always experienced it for myself is that when working with somebody actually disconnects me more from trusting myself, in terms of like, I have to just follow this way. And there's a very dogmatic way of their convictions. It has not served me necessarily, right? Because I am such an intuitive person. I need to trust myself. I need to do it my own way. But on the other hand, when I have mentors where they're actually helping me to bring out my own unique essence more, to trust myself more, right? Yes, they're presenting new ideas, they're presenting new concepts, but there's overall this message like, hey, no matter what I say, if it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't feel right, please do what feels right to you, you know? And I think that's when mentoring, coaching, and business strategy and all of it can actually be incredibly helpful. It's always this like, okay, is this feeling constricting to me and disconnecting me from my own inner knowing, or does this actually enrich my perspective, give me some new ideas that I can now respond to and then put my own foot in it, actually enhancing the connection to my inner knowing. So that's how I have learned over the years how to choose with what mentors to work with, because I have to say it's very important for me still to work with mentors because I can so easily get lost in my own ideas, and it's often very limited because I feel other people can really expand our horizon and show us what's possible, that in my little Annalena world I couldn't perceive first.
Yes. And also, exactly expanding on what you're just saying there is when you're working with someone, whether that's even, or if you have friends or a partner, who who is living very much in their own soul's expression, right?
Mm,
And embodying the soul's expression versus like pushing and forcing from the ego, following the shoulds, just to clarify what it means to me, right? But where the guidance is actually coming from a place where we say, like I like to say, we work for the big boss, right? The
mm,
big boss is telling me something. So if I have a mentor or coach or a friend like you or anyone in my life who helps me trust that more,
mhm,
then we're actually bringing more goodness into the world because one soul's expression and the embodiment of somebody's soul's expression is what I think they call in many religions or spiritual, like little calendars, like, oh, your candle can turn on like 1,000 other candles, right?
exactly. Mhm,
That's then what happens, as opposed to listening to someone where you're feeling like maybe your nervous system is saying, oh, that's maybe a good idea. And something inside is like, oh, I should work with them because if I want more money or something, I need to follow. But it makes you feel all like, then it's not turning the candles on, it's it's more like you're actually running more toward deterioration of goodness and light.
mm,
And just one other thing that, because you've said it so many times, the trusting yourself piece, right? Every week when I go to therapy, and I, I report so many things every week to my therapist. And then when she does like a reflection back to me for all the things where I'm making progress and where I'm doing good and where I'm feeling successful. So
mm.
she's always reflecting back to me. So you really trusted yourself. It's like, oh yeah, okay. So every week I get that reflection from her too. It's like, oh, see, when you're trusting yourself, then good results,
Yeah.
but it's not always so clear of what does it actually mean to trust ourselves.
No, and this is another thing I find for mentorship is so powerful that the other person shows how amazing we are because we don't see it ourselves. I catch myself all the freaking time. And once I have a conversation, it's like, oh, I'm pretty amazing. Like, I really needed to hear this. So I love this. So with that, we just wanted to come on here and give us a short and sweet episode to inspire you too, right? To trust your own inner guidance and seek out mentors that are actually supporting that part of you, where you're trusting yourself more fully, right? Where there is space and room to do things your way in your own authentic way, right? Rather than allowing yourself to be forced into a path. And because that's a decision you make. I mean, nobody's making you do anything, right? But you have the power to choose and to discern where you want to receive guidance from, right? And also ask the question like, I wonder what type of mentorship and coaching is actually really aligned for me so that I can trust myself more and really step more empowered into my own unique path. So ask this wonder questions. By the way, wonder questions are very powerful. Also part of the shift method that Alex and I are working on ourselves and with the people in the wealth frequency, and it's going really, really amazing, really, really well. So with that, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Alex, again. And I'm sure we're gonna do a bunch more of those. So ciao everyone, see you on the next one.